Hi there! In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a colorful visual using Photoshop's threshold effect. This allows you to create more minimalist artworks, closer to the visuals you might find on clothing designs. If you're interested in my creation, it's available on my Redbubble store, link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a like. It will motivate me to create and share other creations. Let's start by opening Photoshop, for my part a square format at 300 dpi. I'll import my image, which you can find on the free image bank, unsplash.com. We'll start by clipping our samurai. We'll go to the Selection tab, then Subject. Photoshop will directly detect the main subject of your image. But as the selection is a bit messy, we're going to rework it with the Quick Selection tool and recover only the area we want. Once our selection is more or less complete, we'll apply a mask to our layer. To do this, click on the icon in the bottom right-hand corner. We'll need to fine-tune our mask even further, to which end we'll use the Brush tool to erase the areas we don't like with black. We can redisplay our mask area using the color white. Once we've finished with our mask, we refocus our layer and right-click to transform it into a smart object. This ensures that we don't degrade our layer by manipulating it, but also that we can come back to work on it simply by double-clicking on it. I'm going to add a black background, simply using a new layer to fill it with black. We'll now turn our attention to our multicolor threshold effect. We're going to get several intensities from our base image, which will crop and change colors. We'll go to Adjustment and click on the Threshold Effect layer. This filter will transform our layer into black and white according to the intensity we give it. We'll start by defining my lightest color, to which end we'll set our Threshold Effect layer so that we recover the lightest parts of our image in white. Then we'll add a group and put our two layers inside. This will enable us to organize ourselves better, but above all we'll use it to create a mask. Once we've selected our group, we'll go to the Selection tab, then Color Range, and select the color white. Then we'll click on the icon here at bottom right to create a mask from our selection. We've just isolated the white from our image. Now we'll define a color for it. To do this, simply double-click on our group, which will open the Layer Style panel. Here we'll add Color Overlay and determine our color. Here we need to choose the lightest color of our visual. For my part, I'm going to use a yellow-orange color. As we can see, we've recovered and cropped only the lightest part of our image, which is now a solid color. Next, we'll duplicate our group simply by drag and dropping it onto the little plus icon on the bottom right. Then we'll hide the first layer group, select our second group, select its mask and delete it. Here we'll repeat the same operation as before, starting by resetting our threshold effect layer. We're going to decrease its intensity to make more white appear. This will be the color underneath the previous yellow color. We'll select our group, then go to the Selection tab, then Color Range, and select the color white. Then click on the icon at bottom right to create a mask from our selection. We'll redisplay our layer style, Color Overlay, then double-click on it to assign it a new color. Here we'll choose a color darker than our yellow. I'll start here with a red. Now you've understood the method to be applied. I'm going to speed up the rest by simply repeating the same steps as before. You can create as many groups of layers with different colors as you like to create a richer color gradient. Always remember to start with the lightest color first and end with a darker one, so that the effect works best. Once we're done, I recommend that you combine all your groups into a single group, which you can rename to simplify layer navigation. We'll move on to designing a visual by adding more detail and graphic elements. We'll start by adding Japanese characters, in this case the word loyalty in Japanese. You can download free typefaces of this type from the Google Fonts site. In my case, it's the Yuji Boku font. We're going to place it behind our main subject so that it doesn't stand out too much, but rather makes our samurai stand out. To accentuate the effect of depth in our image, I'm going to draw a circle with the ellipse shape tool, setting a transparent background and a white outline. I'll place it as I wish and duplicate and move its layer below all the others. I'll group my text into a group and then duplicate it. Then I'll change the color of the text in my last text group to black. I'll simply offset it to create a kind of drop shadow that will section my ellipse underneath and add a little relief. I'll go back to my first ellipse and add a mask. Using the brush tool and the color black, I'll erase parts of my ellipse so that it blends in with my main subject. We're going to add a star shape. To do this, we'll use the shape tool, but this time, polygon. In the Properties tab, you can redefine the number of branches of your star and its angle. For my part, we'll stick with 4 branches and a 10 degrees angle. I'm going to remove the outline of my shape and choose a white background. We'll enlarge our shape simply by pressing Ctrl+T and widening the selection. Then, using the Direct Selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, small white mouse icon, we'll select a point on our shape. Then, using the Feather tool, keyboard shortcut P, we'll simultaneously press Alt plus left click and start moving the angle of our point. Before releasing, we'll also press the Shift key, which will geometrically deform our shape. Once the angle has been drawn, we simply move the point using the Direct Selection tool, but this time holding down the Shift key. Once moved, we'll duplicate our shape and, holding down the Shift key, we'll rotate our selection by pressing Ctrl+T. Once we're ready, we'll do the same thing again, this time duplicating these 2 layers. Once this is done, I'll select my 4 shapes, enlarge them and then convert them into smart objects. Now with Ctrl+T, we can easily move and resize our star wherever we like. All that's left to do is duplicate and reposition it wherever you like. Let's move on to our moon shape. To do this, we create a circle with the Ellipse Shape tool, holding down the Shift key to keep the circle perfect. Then, using the Triangle Shape tool, we'll draw a deformed triangle. Apply the color black and place it on top of my circle. Then, holding down the Alt key, I'll drag and drop my triangle to duplicate it where I want. Once placed, I'll select all my layers and convert them into a smart object, and place my layer under all the others so that it's below my visual. All that's left is to import some details, in this case cloud images that I've retrieved online and modified. And a drawing of a cherry blossom branch. Once positioned, I'll add a title to my visual using the shortcut T, Text tool. To detach our subject from the background, then, by double-clicking on it, I'll create a drop shadow in my Layer Style panel. In the shadow parameters, set the Spread and Size options to the minimum to create a full shadow. Then all we need to do is adjust the angle and distance to position it as we wish. From here we'll display a white background. And, still selecting our layer group, we'll go to the Selection tab and Color Range. Here we'll select the color black, then Validate. Then, still with our selection active, we open our group and find the Smart Object of our samurai image. And on the image of our layer we'll do a Ctrl plus Shift plus left click, which will add the layer's selection to our active selection. On our work surface, right-click and select Inverse, which will invert our active selection. We'll select our general layer group again, and this time apply a mask to it. We've just removed the black color from our visual. However, we can see that a few artifacts remain. These are due to the fact that there are still these layers displayed in the folder. To do this, simply find each layer with the black color and remove it from the display. Once we've finished, all we need to do is transform our group layer into a smart object. And there we have our visual on a transparent background. From there, we can put it into action, for example, by importing it onto a t-shirt mock-up that can be found for free on the internet. If you're interested in my creation, it's available on my Redbubble store, the link in the description. And here's the final result. If you have any questions, don't hesitate, I'll be happy to answer them or help you. If you liked this video, please subscribe and leave a like. It will motivate me to create more tutorials of my creations. See you on the channel.